All right. Oh, there we go. Hey, what's up, guys? So lecture 14. This is going to be your milestone for this week, and it's going to be super short, pretty simple, but it's going to get you guys to where I want you for next week, so we can start crashing through doing documentation. So on the screen here, I have basically a simple house layout. I actually measured it. It's a really, really tiny house. I think it's cozy. 29 feet, but you're looking at like 7-foot rows. So it's a little cozy. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a new sheet. We're going to add this as a viewport to it. Sorry, my dog's, 1 second. Okay, dog's been taken care of. All right, not taken care of like that. Anyway. All right, so we have just a simple building layout here. And so what I'm going to do first, take a note down here in the project browser. You can see that I have sheets all, and there's no collapse, uncollapse like there is for the families here. So what you're going to do is you're going to click up here on sheet. And I think I already preloaded it because I forgot to hit record. So what you're going to have is you're going to have a title block here, and that's how you load in the sheets. So you'll go to load, and then I'm already in it. But you usually start here in the library, and so what you'll do is you'll scroll down to the bottom just above Windows is title blocks, open that folder up, and then we're going to be using the ArcD template. So open that one up, and then once you have that there, just go ahead and hit OK, and it's going to load in a new sheet. And now you can see that I have my A101 here, and then I can rename this as I need to. So so for example, right now it's A101. I can change the name to, usually I just call it something like floor plan, or it might be site plan, depending on what you're working on. So I'm going to do floor plan right there. Along with that, anytime you create a new sheet, and we haven't talked about a couple other things, but there's a couple times where if you change the naming convention, Revit will try to adapt. So if you put a dash in here, for example, instead of coming in as A102, it'll come in as A-102. So Revit will recognize, or at least try to recognize in some cases, the naming convention that you're working with, and then try and adapt to it. So anyway, back to here, floor plan 1. So for those of you who took my AutoCAD class, if you remember viewports, basically what we did is we created this Paperspace, and then we added a viewport, and then we put that viewport over part of our drawing. And Revit's a little bit simpler than that. You're just going to click and drag, and so this is my level 1 floor plan, click and drag, and place it there. So that's the process of actually placing your actual views from your project browser into your document. It's a very simple one-step process like that. Now, I'm not going to get all the way into it because it's not worth it until we get actually some elevation views to work with. But for this, what you want to recognize is that right now we've got this area right here. There's a couple elevation markers on the outside, and we've got our leader bar down here. What I want to do is I actually want to make this 1/4 inch scale because that's typically the size that we work at in the program. So I'm going to double click inside of this. You can see that kind of just like viewports again in AutoCAD. You'll highlight over it, double click outside to get out, just like AutoCAD. So you'll double click in here. Once you're inside, you'll get this option right here. This is going to show you the scale that this drawing is at. So if I change this to 1/4 inch scale, it's going to change how big that is. All right, keep that in mind. We'll get back to that in a minute. The other thing we have is we have the detail for the drawing. So I haven't adjusted this yet, but you'll probably be doing it in your own drawings. But I'm going to turn this up to fine, and then I'm going to leave this at hidden line for now. But one of the things that you want to do is you want to make sure that this is kind of in the right position. And so you can see that this is too big for this sheet. So what I want to do is double click inside of here so that I'm editing this actual section here. And then in the properties I have the visibility graphics right here. And this is a setting that you will change per drawing. In some cases you will have a working floor plan where you'll actually be working on things in your drawing. And then what you do is create, or at least what I do, the way I personally prefer to work, is that I tend to create new drawings. So duplicate view with detailing, and so like before I edit anything, we'll call this level 1 working, and this is level 1 plan view. Sure. Okay. So these are the ones that I would actually drop into my model. So now I've got this here, and if I double click inside of here, go to visibility graphics, and then you can see that first, let me kind of go over this too. So we have model categories. So you can see in this visibility column all the things that are considered different categories for Revit. And it's going to give you the option to toggle those on and off. And in some cases, you'll have multiple different types of elements within that. And that'll determine what will and won't show up. The option we're looking for in this case, because we want to turn these elevation markers off, is the annotation categories. So this is where you're going to have your tags, your room labels, and all the other stuff. And in this, dimension lines, yeah. So in this case, what we're looking for is elevations. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to uncheck elevations, hit apply, and hit OK. And now you can see that those lines are gone, and now I can kind of double click anywhere, and now you can see that that bold border around this is now much closer. It's not always going to be this close because we'll usually have something around the outside of the building, dimension line, window tags, door tags, etc. But in this case, this is what we're working with. So I'm going to now move this down here, and actually I'm going to bump this up to 1/2 inch just so it kind of fits our page better. So right there. Now here's a little quirk that goes on with this is when you have this selected, you can't move this independently, the leader line. So what you have to do, it's super annoying, is you just click completely away from it, and now you can come in and surprise grab the leader line and move it into position. And then you have to click back over to here so that you can then drag this end of the leader line back in. All right. So, and then I'll put that over there. So that's how you bring something in here, resize it, and then modify that. So what I want you guys to do for your milestone this week is to create a simple floor plan. You can even reuse an existing floor plan. I just want one floor plan. I want you to create a sheet on ArcD size, just like I did, and I want you to scale it to an appropriate size for your sheet. I don't know which project you're going to use at this point. So either 1/4 inch or 1/2 inch, whatever fits the page size, and then scale it to that size, remove the exterior elevation markers, and then size the leader line appropriately. And that'll be it for the milestone for this week. Next week we'll be getting more into this, so we'll be doing room labels, door labels, window labels, then we'll be getting into section cuts, elevations, elevation markers, and all the other fun stuff that comes with documenting. So that's it for this week. I will see you guys in class.